Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Wehry History and Entertainment News of the Berkshires and beyond. As fall is now in full swing, I will be discussing several stories on parks and local craft fairs. Plus, I'll be discussing a history of Lennox. And I'll be reviewing the third and fourth Scream films. First, it's time for this episode's trivia question. This episode's question is, what movie used Ventford Hall in Lennox for some of its filming? Now, for this episode's local headlines. For our first story, we are going to be visiting the Berkshire Art Center. Berkshire Art Center, or BAC, formerly known as IS 183 Art School, is the leader of high-quality, hands-on instruction in the visual arts year-round at sites throughout Berkshire County. Founded in 1991 as a place where, according to their website, quote, people who love art, regardless of age or ability, can gather to experience creative expression, end quote, BAC has evolved to reach over 2,500 students each year through studio-based classes, artistic events, and out-of-school engagement programs. Furthermore, BAC's Learning Through Arts program, launched in 2007, brings the studio art experience directly to the desks of the county's K through 12th grade students. BAC's classes provide opportunities for our community to feel what it's like to create the art scene in our local museums, to connect with local artists, and to be empowered to make something with their own hands. The Berkshire Art Center is located in both 13 Willard Hill Road in Stockbridge, as well as 141 North Street in Pittsfield. For more information, visit the website shown here. For our next stop, we will be visiting Mass Mocha for an event on Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. Celebrate Dia de los Muertos Mass Mocha style. Join us for the Mexican holiday of remembrance for those who have passed away. Bring your friends and family to the museum for free admission to Vincent Valdez's exhibition, Just a Dream. The party continues under Spencer Finch's Cosmic Latte, where you can contribute to an altar with your own ofrenda, or offering, including photos or tokens of past loved ones, and dance to local Berkshire County musicians. Kids Space is open all evening for art making in the spirit of life and death. And a special edition family story time starts at 5:15 p.m. This is scheduled to take place on November 1st from 4 to 7 p.m. For more information, visit massmocha.org. Holiday bazaars are an important time in Berkshire County. A lot of people in the Berkshires shop at these places for great holiday deals. Here is a partial list of holiday bazaars, their locations, and dates. First in North Adams will be the St. Elizabeth of Hungary Parish Bazaar. This takes place on November 14th and 15th at 70 Marshall Street from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Up next is the United Methodist Church in Lenox, which is located on 6 Holmes Road. Their bazaar will take place on November 22nd, the Saturday before Thanksgiving, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The next bazaar will be in Dalton at the St. Agnes Church, located on 30 Carson Ave. It will also take place on November 22nd, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Downtown Pittsfield is also hosting their bazaar. Theirs will take place at the Dunham Mall on 100 North Street on Saturday, December 6th. Hours will be noon to 3 p.m. Many of them are still setting up. So if you have baked goods or crafts to sell, it is a good time to set them up for the bazaar. You can visit each place's individual website for more information, or call the phone numbers of the bazaars. We will be staying in Pittsfield for our next story, going to the Berkshire Theater Group for a concert with Albert Cummings. Albert Cummings is a powerhouse blues guitarist, vocalist, and songwriter whose electrifying sound has cemented him as a leading voice in modern blues. Hailing from Berkshire County, Cummings draws from deep musical roots, inspired by legends like Stevie Ray Vaughan, B.B. King, and Jimi Hendrix. His unique blend of searing guitar solos, soulful vocals, and emotional storytelling has earned him critical acclaim and a global fan base. Whether he's in the studio or on stage, Cummings delivers performances that are equal parts raw energy and heartfelt expression, breathing new life into the genre while honoring its legacy. Over the course of 2 decades, Cummings has built an impressive music that includes fan favorites such as Feel So Good, No Regrets, Someone Like You, and the chart-topping Strong, which hit #1 on the Billboard Blues chart in 2022. Known for his unforgettable live shows and his signature Stratocaster tone, Cummings continues to captivate audiences with a style that walks the line between roadhouse grit and virtuosic finesse. As he pushes the boundaries of contemporary blues, Albert Cummings remains a vital and thrilling force, carrying the torch forward with each new performance. This concert is scheduled for November 14th. For more information, visit the website shown here. Our Pittsfield stories continue with a trip to Arrowhead for the Berkshire Fall Fest, which is located there. Berkshire Museum and the Berkshire County Historical Society are proud to present Fall Fest, a free all-ages event at Herman Melville's Arrowhead in Pittsfield on Saturdays in October from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This poster shows one of the dates. This event will celebrate the season with a variety of crafts, games, and hands-on activities for children and adults to enjoy, as well as offering guests the opportunity to unwind and enjoy the fall colors on the scenic grounds at Arrowhead. Among those scheduled to be there are baseball in the Berkshires, Berkshire Athenaeum, Berkshire Bewitches, Berkshire Museum, and Bidwell House, among others. Additionally, Berkshire Cider Project will be on site to offer a cider pressing activity and samples of their hard local cider for guests 21 years of age and over. As stated, this event takes place Saturdays in October. For more information, visit the website shown here. Up next, we will be mentioning 3 events at the Stationery Factory in Dalton. First is Beyond Purple. Beyond Purple performs a showcase of the biggest hits from Deep Purple, Whitesnake, Rainbow, and Dio, which will all born out of the Deep Purple family tree. The band faithfully recreates the vivid experience of live, high-energy music from what many consider to be rock's greatest era. Excuse me. Beyond Purple consists of elite musicians with national ties, including guitarist Jimmy Bell and his amazing prowess on guitar. This concert takes place on November 7th from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. Our second event is Deadfall, a family-friendly indoor music and arts festival featuring Dead Man's Waltz, Marx Brothers, Creamery Station, The Wheel, Krishna Guthrie, craft vendors, food, and more. There will also be record sales and a community food drive. Please bring non-perishable food items to be donated to Loaves and Fishes Food Pantry in Dalton. This is scheduled for November 8th from 4:20 p.m. to 11 p.m. Our final stationery factory piece is the Dalton Country Fest. The second annual Dalton Country Fest features Hotshot Hillbillies, Tame the Rooster, C.J. Field, Colin Kolowaski, square dancing with Cliff Brodeur and Terry Hall, and line dancing with Tina Mole. Food will be available from Sabrina of Berkshire Flavorful Bites. And there will also be a craft fair and raffles. This is a benefit for the Dalton Lions Club, which is a fellowship of dedicated men and women volunteers who share a vision, passion, and energy to make a positive impact, helping others while making friends in a club atmosphere. This is scheduled to take place on November 15th. It takes place from 5:30 to 11 p.m. However, doors open at 4:30 for various vendors. For more information, visit the website shown here. It's now time for this episode's history portion of WWHCN. This is something we haven't done here in a while. For this episode, we'll be focusing on Lennox. The area was inhabited by Mohican Indians, Algonquian speakers who largely lived along the Hudson and Housatonic rivers. In 1751, for 2,500 pounds, Josiah Dean purchased lot number 8, which included present-day Lennox and Richmond. After conflicting land claims were resolved, however, it went to Samuel Brown Jr., who had bought the land from the Mohican chief on condition that he pay 650 pounds extra. It was founded as Richmond in 1756. But because the Berkshires divided the town in two, the village of Yocon was set off in Lennox in 1761. The town was intended to be called Lennox, Lennox, probably after Charles Lennox, 3rd Duke of Richmond and Lennox in England. But the name was misspelled Lenox by a clerk at incorporation. Early Lennox industries included farming, sawmills, textile mills, glassworks, and quarrying. A vein of iron ore led to the digging of mines under the town, and the establishment by Job Gilbert in the 1780s of an ironworks at Lennoxdale, also known as Lennox Furnace, which is shown here. In 1784, Lennox became the county seat of Berkshire County, until 1868, when the title passed to Pittsfield. The county courthouse, built in 1816, is today the Lennox Library. The period from 1880 until 1920 would be dubbed the Berkshire Cottage era, when the small New England town was transformed into a Gilded Age resort, similar to places like Newport, Rhode Island, and Bar Harbor, Maine. The wealthy and their entourage opened immense houses for recreation and entertaining during what was called the Berkshire season, which lasted from late summer until early fall. In 1903, for instance, an acre in Lennox cost $20,000, a lot of money back then, where an acre in nearby towns cost a few dollars. Today, Lennox is well known for its arts and entertainment, including Tanglewood, the Mount, and Shakespeare and Company. Lennox also provides the answer to this episode's trivia question. As a reminder, this episode's question was, what movie used Ventford Hall in Lennox for some of its filming? The answer is The Cider House Rules. The award-winning movie, which was released in 1999, takes place in Maine, but certain scenes were filmed in various spots in Massachusetts. Longtime location managers Charlie Harrington and Mark Fitzgerald photographed the mansion, even though director Hallie Lassie Hallstrom had specified a wooden structure. Although only the outside of the house was meant to be used in the filming, several scenes were shot on the magnificent staircase in the Great Hall that can be seen in the movie. It's now time for this episode's movie portion of WWHEN. We will be continuing our binge-a-thon of the Scream series. This episode is focusing on the third and fourth films of the long-running franchise. Scream 3 was released in 2000, just in time for the new millennium. After the traumatic events of Scream 2, Sidney Prescott has gone into hiding, working for a hotline for abused women. Meanwhile, the Hollywood in this universe has produced several movies called Stab, based on the events within the first two films. When the actors of Stab start dying, it appears another Ghostface has entered the scene. So the trio of Sidney, Gale Weathers, and Dewey Riley must figure out possible connections. Scream 4 was released in 2011, a long 11 years after. Now, Sidney is a successful author, and Gale and Dewey are married. When Sidney returns home just in time for the 15th anniversary of the original murders, a new Ghostface emerges, and the trio must investigate again. So, how do these films work? The third Scream is frequently called the worst Scream of the bunch. I agree to a point. It's only the worst Scream because the others in this franchise are so good. It still has the same awareness, tension, and sense of humor about it, but there are some things that don't quite work, such as the focus on Hollywood. At points, it seems to be too much of an inside movie, rather than the horror movie it should be. In addition, this Ghostface is possibly the weakest to date. The critical disappointment of Scream 3 probably caused the 11-year wait for Scream 4. Happily, this film was a nice improvement. The 11-year wait really allowed the movie to point out new trends in horror movies circa 2011. Additionally, this film's Ghostface is the strongest one, with the most manipulative tendencies. Scream 4 was not a big hit at the box office. In fact, it has the least amount of money for all the Screams, because the market had changed. However, Scream 4 is just as good as the first two. Of the two films reviewed this episode, Scream 4 is clearly superior, with the score of 8.4 to 7.4. On the next episode, I'll be reviewing the two most recent Scream films. That ends this episode of Wehry History and Entertainment News in the Berkshires and beyond. If you would like to watch this or any other WWHEN episode again, you can visit PCTV's website shown here, or my YouTube page at RT Wehry. And I want to thank CTSB TV and NBCTC for showing my show on their public access station. Thank you.